What is up, everybody, and welcome to episode 195 of Let Me Get That Podagraph. As always, my name is Drew, or the DH, and joining me, my awesome co-host, Mr. Scott Rappaport.
What's up, Drew? We're on 195 already. That's a little crazy.
Yeah, got to plan something special for 200, which you guys know we will.
Oh, I know. We're gonna do something that might be a nighttime live show with a bunch of guests, and we'll see what we can put together for that.
Absolutely.
So good weekend.
Oh yeah, well, flew down to Florida, did some work for Gem Mint. It's always
typical.
Yeah, typical. Yeah,
typical. Couple of days.
Unplanned couple of days down there doing some work. So yeah, I mean it was a good weekend outside of. I swear, dude, I have the worst luck with flying right now. I've taken 28 airplanes this year and have a lot more to go. But for some reason, the last 4 or 5 of them, they all get delayed. And now I'm not talking like 30 minutes. Last night was only like 20 or 30 minutes, thank God.
That's not even a delay. You can make that up.
No, but I'm talking like 5-6 hours, planes being canceled or pushed back to the next day. Like my flight luck has been terrible. And if you only fly once or twice a year, oh well, big deal. But when you're flying 2-3 times a month, oh my God, dude, it's
2-3 times, dude. My record in a calendar year is 176 flight segments.
Well, I won't hit that this year, but I'm definitely probably going to hit a record for flights because
I'm very
back in the day when we did the music, we did the van.
Yeah, and I'm very thankful that I don't have to do that anymore. That was absolutely brutal, and I was fortunate, not many delays from that, so we're good to go. But as some of you guys may notice, I'm actually wearing a hat today.
Yes, as we are live on YouTube. This is our
I know it's weird,
YouTube.
And it's weird. Normally I don't wear a hat on when we're doing this because I'm sitting in my office and we're not really recording video. This one though, I made a promise. So at the National, Scott had a bunch of these really cool hats sitting at their booth, and I told Ezra, I'm like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna snag one of those. He goes, all right, you can have it as long as you wear it on the show. I'm like,
I gotta have him send me one of those.
I got a deal. So that's the mascot hat from the National.
Very nice. So I like it. I love their logo. It's cool.
Fulfilling my
anyway, guys, welcome to
promise
the show.
To Ezra there.
Yeah, of course. Well, everyone, welcome to the show, and we've got a lot to talk about today. So, Scott, let's dive right into it, man. This is an interesting one because on one side, it's the greatest redemption card of all time. But then on the other side, you've got a lot of really pissed off collectors, and you've got a major problem on your hands if you're Panini. And of course, I'm talking about the Bo Nickal redemption, where he signed the redemption and then wrote at the bottom, "I'm never signing this."
Now, and that's the part that makes it great, because we've seen autographed redemption cards before. I think there's a couple of Josh Allen ones floating around out there. Various guys that have, people have just walked up at like training camp or wherever and just had him sign it.
Yeah.
But in this case, he did write on there, "I'm never signing this." And I don't remember. There may have been an expletive.
No expletive on the card. Or no, wait, there may have been actually. But I know he did say that he's never signing this card. It's just I'm never signing this ! And
okay, maybe in my mind I just put in there that there's an expletive
I think
in there because it
just
he's
sounds a UFC fighter, and he's
he's
a popular UFC fighter who's a very polarizing figure because he's a little political, but he's also hilarious. He's very active on social media. He's a massive rising star. He's a rookie in this year's UFC products. So he's a young kid, up and comer. But this is interesting because not only is just the redemption awesome, but him saying that he's not signing this, there's a question that arises with me. And what he said was that Panini offered him such a low amount that it was insulting, his words, that it was insulting, and that he was not going to sign anymore for Panini. So did he have a contract, or did Panini put him in as a redemption on the thought process of we're going to have a contract with him? Because that's a
Yeah.
dangerous line to walk.
No, exactly. And that's the thing. And I don't, was this Select or was this Prism?
This was Select.
Out of
This
Select.
was
Okay.
his Select. This
Which
was
came out
Select.
after Prism.
Yes.
So I'm trying to think, and I'm just going to do a quick search here while we have this. 2023 Prism Nickal auto. Because I want to
his
see.
autographs are all redemptions. The
They're all
only
redemptions, yeah.
autographs of him, period, are in-person autos that have been slabbed and stuff like that. All of his stuff is redemptions. So there's never been a Bo Nickal Panini released autograph, yet there's redemptions in a product, which is why I'm wondering, what did they have a contract? Because if he's just able to say, screw it, I'm not signing this.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of athletes I know do that, and Panini just doesn't really do much about it because they're not a big deal, whatever, it happens, blah, blah, blah. They just don't care. I know that for a fact. A lot of athletes have done that. But this is a massive star in one of their only products they're going to have left in a couple of years. And you're putting him in as a redemption, yet he's able to just say, screw it, I'm not going to sign. That makes me think that he didn't have a contract when they put him in this product.
And that was my first thought was, did he have it? Did he, did they not do a contract with him?
Well, because his statement was, it's so insultingly low that I'm not going to sign. It makes me think they gave him the contract. He said, screw you guys. Maybe initially they had said, yes, we'll do this. And then he did some research. And from social media, like I said, he's a star, so he knows branding. Maybe he looked at this and was like, no, I'm worth way more. Panini said no. And he just decided not to sign a contract. But that's,
or
you should not be putting a redemption in for a player that you don't have a contract with, if that's the case, which is what it sounds like.
Yeah. And now the other thing is, he signed the contract, got it back to Panini, and then did the research on, what is everybody making, for all of these.
Yeah.
So, and I would think that these are all sticker autos, right? Because I think the majority of the UFC autos are sticker, right?
Oh yeah, the Select and stuff like that would definitely be stickers, 100%. These are guaranteed mostly sticker. They do have most of the UFC stuff that's chromium is always sticker, even the rated rookie stuff that they do.
So
I would expect that these would have been stickers.
So yeah, you would think that Panini wouldn't put the redemption in there unless they had a contract for him.
Right.
But it's very possible that he signed it, sent it back, then did the research and said, this is stupid. The pricing that, they're giving me to sign all this stuff is ridiculously low.
Yeah.
It's insulting, and I'm never going to do it. Or maybe he knew that going in. He signed the contract. He knew the redemptions were going to wind up going in there, and he did it to screw Panini.
That's quite possible.
And that's possible too. And if that's the case, you can't fault Panini for putting in a redemption card for a guy that they have a contract for.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'd like to know.
Well, we need to know, and I think we will, because of what I said. He could end up being a so-so fighter. Stop today, and his social media and branding, he could do anything he wanted and be a millionaire and probably make more than he would in his UFC career. Because the social media, I mean, the dude's playing golf and hanging out with ex-presidents that are very polarizing. Like, I mean, he's not just hanging out with UFC guys, and a lot of people follow him. This guy,
so he's the new
very wealthy people.
He's the new version of Colby Covington.
Yes, but with a lot more staying power, because he's an actually good person.
Okay.
Like, he's not a piece of shit. Like he's actually a nice person.
Well, aside from the fact that if he has this contract in place, he's refusing to fulfill the
Yes.
obligations of the contract, and it's pissing off collectors.
Well, no, because
Because
that's a big issue because obviously, like I said, he's a very popular person. So who do you think's autos were some of the biggest chases in these products?
well, I
Him.
looked at some of the selling prices. I mean, there's not one of his that's going, I think, for less than $150, and that's for the
Right.
redemption.
Right.
So imagine all these people that are, that have shelled out big money for a base auto of his, at a minimum, 150,
Yep.
and now all of a sudden they're not going to get it because
No.
he's not going to sign.
No,
So
I mean, just today, even today, even with people knowing his redemptions, well, maybe these people didn't know, but when,
and that's the thing. There's a lot of people out there that buy stuff that they buy cards and things like that that don't pay
yeah.
attention to social
Well,
media,
someone
that don't pay
paid
attention to anything.
$355 for a blue Prism auto out of 75 that they're never going to get.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the question obviously is there a contract?
Yeah.
And I'd like Panini to come out, and especially if there is a contract, I'd like somebody Panini to come out and say, yeah, we have a contract for this.
Yes.
Because if they didn't have a contract for this and they threw redemptions in there anyway, expecting that, hey, maybe we're gonna have a contract for this.
Yeah.
That may end up being the undoing of redemptions.
Yep.
Because if they threw that in there without
Mhm.
having a contract from the player that they were going to sign,
Yeah.
now all of a sudden you've got something that, obviously people have tried suing Panini before for lack of redemptions and
Oh, yeah.
not being fulfilled and things like that. But in their defense, they can't necessarily control the athletes and when they're going to get stuff back to them and things like that.
Right.
But in this case, if they did put that in there without having a contract that Bo was going to sign these cards, that may be something that could potentially hold some water in a legal case.
No. Oh, very, very much so.
Yeah.
And that's why I have reached out to Panini, some people that I know there, and I have reached out to Bo Nickal's team. I did get a response from Bo's team, and they said that the person that responded did not know, but they said that they would be getting back to me. So
Okay.
we'll update that on social media this week because they will be getting back to me. I got their phone number, and I've already texted with the individual a couple of times. So I will be getting an answer from Bo Nickal's team, at least from on their side, and any statement that they have to make. They said they'd be providing one here shortly. But Panini, I'm going to reach out to some other people. I sent one message out, but have not heard back. But I'm going to send a couple more out because this is something we need to know because this is a big deal if they did not have a contract signed with him and put these redemptions in. This is a major, major deal.
And I'd like to think that they would.
Well, me too. Me too.
But at the same time, we really just don't know.
No.
Anything is really possible.
Yeah.
With
I know one group of people that's really hoping they didn't have a contract.
And there's probably a lot of people that are hoping. And I know you're talking about the other company.
But
at the same time, that doesn't help. That doesn't really help or hurt.
No, but it just shines a really bad light on Panini.
Of course,
if that's the case.
But this is one of those things. But now, if it turns out he does have a contract, he's basically saying out there that, hey, I'm not going to fulfill the terms of the contract.
Yeah.
If Panini ever decided to go after him for it, they've got all the evidence in the world that he never intended to honor the terms of those contract. So it's basically an admission.
Yeah,
that Panini's going to wind up using, once the lawyers get involved.
I don't know. I don't think Panini does a damn thing in terms of suing him. They've got plenty of other legal things to worry about, and I don't see them in any way, shape, or form doing something from a legal standpoint.
Yeah, but I think they have to.
Yeah,
I think they have to. Because you've got,
I agree. You have to because you got to fight it some way because it looks terrible on your end that someone's going to flat out sign a card saying he's never signing for you.
Exactly. So I think they have to. And look, there's precedent for this. Brian Gray
Yeah.
went after one of the athletes. I'm drawing a blank on who it was. Was it Des Bryant?
Yeah,
Or
Des I believe so. I can't remember
yeah,
exactly.
I don't know.
No, it
I don't.
was Des. It was.
It was Des. Okay, so he went after him, and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
miraculously, the
Yeah,
card
the
just gets
autos
signed.
appeared quickly. Yeah.
Yeah. So this may be one of those situations where they have to go after him, and I don't know what's in those contracts that Panini puts out to the athletes, and
Yeah.
whether or not there's penalties or anything like that. If
Right.
I think worst case scenario, they can recoup legal fees or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I
Um,
mean, damn, Julio Jones, they gave Julio what, 11 or 13 years, something like that, for him to sign his. And I mean, he finally signed them. So I mean, there's definitely no time frame.
no. Well, I mean, there might be in the new ones.
Well, yes, in the new ones there might be. It's probably the Julio clause. But
And that may be what it is. And I don't think Andy Dalton ever signed his from his
no,
rookie
he
year.
didn't. He didn't.
So
Yeah.
look, I mean, they have to go after him if he signed the contract. Now, if he didn't sign the contract, that's a whole nother problem. But either way, Panini's got an issue they got to deal with here.
Yeah, yet another one. And Bo Nickel providing, in my opinion, the greatest redemption of all time. That is one of the funniest inscriptions I've ever seen in my life. And I would love to know the story. And I hope when I talk to their team, I'm able to get the answer to this. But I would love to know what made him sign that.
And honestly, I'd love to have Bo on to talk
Yeah,
about, because I want to know, like, hey, what's in this contract?
yeah.
What is it that they're offering? Let's get some detail on it.
Well, I'll almost guarantee you it was the standard $5 rookie, deal that they offer for, nobody's claiming that he's UFC and not big enough, drawing power, blah, 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 all those reasons in the world. I'd almost bet, because at the beginning of the year, I mean, when these contracts would have been drawn up, he didn't have the hype he has now. He had a social media presence, but he hadn't won fights. Now he's actually proving that he can fight, and his social media and his circle, and like I said, is just growing tremendously. And so I'd love to have him on too. Maybe when I talk to his team this week, we can set that up and get Bo on, and maybe we can figure this out. But
And look,
Panini,
maybe it's a situation where he intended on doing it, he signed it, and all of a sudden, somebody, either him or somebody from his team, like looked up what these are selling for, and
yeah,
they see that, oh my God, these things are going for upwards of $300-400.
500, yeah.
If it's $5 an auto, why am I getting now? Again, he needs to be mindful of the secondary market versus the product cost and things like that. But maybe that's what drove it. It's like, hey, these things are selling for a lot of money.
Well, hey,
only getting
the
$5
highest price one so far was a purple that sold for over $1,600, and then a tie dye that sold for $1,600 at the redemption. So
Yeah,
hey, there it is. Maybe that's it.
and I feel bad for those guys, because
So do I.
what could they possibly get as a replacement? Because again, they're going to try to replace it with UFC. So what are they going to throw in there?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. Well, definitely a story that we'll keep you updated on. Hopefully we'll be able to have Bo on the show, because he does do a lot of social media. So we'll maybe we'll have him on. But Scott, now from something funny and interesting to just
Messed up. Really, really messed up.
And before we start, I don't want to talk about any of the allegation stuff, because, as I said, it is straight allegations, and I have very strong opinions on it. And I do not want to get into all of that, because I don't think that's really what we need to focus on. I want to focus on the card aspect of it. But of course, we're talking about Mr. Wander Franco.
All right. Now, for those of you that don't know, I do want to point out what the allegation was.
Yes.
And the allegation was that he had a relationship with was it a 13 or a 14-year-old?
14-year-old Dominican Republic girl.
All right. Now, I have heard, from what we've seen, this started as a Reddit post from a random person that was subsequently deleted. Prior to it being deleted, it got some legs on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
People, talking about it.
The
And
original post on Twitter was also deleted.
yes. So, um, the allegation is that he had a relationship with either a 13 or a 14-year-old girl. I heard two different variations on it. The
Yeah.
one was that it was more recent, and I also heard one that he had a relationship with the girl when he was 17, she was 13,
Right.
and ended it prior to him turning 18.
Right.
And now supposedly she is 19, has a kid of her own that is not his.
Yes.
And
Let's also preface this with
yeah,
the fact that there was also a little bit of possible extortion involved. There was
yes,
money and a lot of other stuff requested.
yes,
This was not leaked by somebody, random. This was leaked by someone that wanted money and that wants stuff from this athlete.
yeah,
But Wander in some hot water, not playing, of course. There
right.
is an investigation by the league. Obviously, he's sitting. Everyone kind of went crazy when it went because it dropped on Wander Hat Night at the.
Well, even no, even worse. Not only was it Wander Hat Night, but the hats were a kids promotion.
No, I know.
It was the first
No,
10,000
no,
kids.
it was terrible. The optics of that were terrible. But and he sat, and everyone was like, oh, obviously they go to that. Well, that was planned way ahead of time.
Yes, he
That
was
sitting with
in.
yeah.
I do want to point out he was in the dugout until like the 5th inning.
Well, then they had to take him out because
And right,
it got so much traction on social media that
right,
you couldn't have him on TV because he's going to be pictured in the dugout. I
right.
totally get why he left in the 5th inning.
Oh yeah, no, I get that too. And then
I
at the
would have
same
left early.
time, I don't fault the Rays for sitting him. I don't fault the MLB for doing an investigation because
No.
an allegation like this has to be investigated, regardless of whether or not it's true.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping it's not,
Oh
but
God. Yeah.
the optics are, if they continue to have him playing during an investigation, I mean, the whole thing is now. I'm hoping that none of it's true.
Yep.
And then, now all of a sudden, he goes to court in the Dominican to go after, the person that posted it and, things like that. But the card market,
Yes.
obviously, has tanked.
Oh God. Yes.
And rightfully so.
Yep.
To a certain point. However, this is not one of those situations. Who was that pitcher from the Pirates that had a relationship with an underage girl, and there was proof right off the bat that all that happened, and he actually wanted going to jail.
Can't remember his name. I'm going to look it up, but yeah.
It's not that type of situation because there's no hard evidence that popped out.
Right.
It's a random allegation from
with
a
extortion
random person. With an
Felipe
element of
Vasquez
extortion.
was the pitcher.
Thank you. So it's one of those things. Look, I understand cards are going to dip a little bit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, everybody's going nuts on social media, like, screw him, all this kind of stuff. Like, everybody's sell now. Based on what I've seen, there's a very good chance that this is complete BS.
Yeah.
Or the majority of the elements of it are BS.
Yes.
And I'd be buying right now.
And honestly, a lot of people are. I actually was going to buy a couple of cards just in case for that reason. And I was looking at what some of them went for. And I kind of expected them to go low, but they went insanely high. And then I looked at some of the sold prices lately, and cards have some of the bigger cards and some of his key cards have gone up a little bit, while a lot of his other stuff has tanked.
Now, speaking of that, you still got that purple Bowman first?
I do.
Okay. Probably a good time to hang on to that a little bit longer.
Oh yeah, no. We're holding on to it for a little longer.
Yeah, but I'm just not sure what to make of this one because again, if the allegations are true, screw him, whatever. If it's not, and there's a good chance that it's not, everybody freaked out and is trying to destroy this guy for nothing.
I know. And the sad part is even if it comes out that this is bullshit and it was extortion and all that crap, I still look at it kind of like and relate it a little bit to like Tatis
Yeah.
with steroids. Even when Tatis when he was found guilty, you know, and now that he's back, they're slowly rising, but they've never hit what they were
No.
at, and not remotely close. And I think for Wander Franco, I'm worried if more information doesn't come out really quickly, which it probably won't, sadly.
No, I actually think it will, because I think Major League Baseball has a vested interest in
Oh,
doing
well,
a very
that's
quick
true. That's
investigation,
true.
because you're
Yeah.
talking about one of their
They might
biggest
not sit on their
stars.
ass this time. Yeah.
Exactly. This is not something that should take time.
Right.
They most likely have somebody in the Dominican right now,
Of course
looking
they
into
do.
this, doing interviews, talking to people. And I think this is going to be wrapped up, because again, they said he didn't make this one road trip. It's
Right.
like a
Yeah.
week-long road trip.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if this investigation is not done by the end of the week.
No, well, I hope so, because and I hope so for multiple reasons. Since we're focused, I want to preface this is since we're focusing on the card market and this is a card show.
Yeah.
What I'm about to say, I hope for collectors' sakes and the card market's sake that it is, because the longer it drags out, the more you have idiots on social media who have no idea what they're doing, and that my biggest problem with social media in the hobby is that people just go on these just ridiculously stupid rants all day long, and that's what's going to hurt his prices. While, like you said, I'd be buying right now. There's no reason to think that he is guilty of this until we have actual proof, and so it's just going to drop the longer it plays on.
Right, and but at this point, it's come down far. The market's come down far enough.
Oh yeah.
Where, and especially, look, if there's been a whole ton of evidence that have been thrown out there, and this isn't something that originated on a deleted Reddit thread from a random
and then a Twitter
person.
Deleted thread, yeah.
This is not one of those. I mean, it's one of those weird things. Like, okay, there's the picture of him kissing some girl on the cheek.
I kiss my niece on the cheek, and I have tons of pictures like that.
Exactly. It is so. Yeah. That who knows what the context of that is? We don't know.
Right. Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it could be a very good move, buying stuff up at cheaper prices, because if they can prove, and they will, if it proves not to be true and it proves just to be extortion, MLB will come out and say that.
Yes.
Yep. And that's fine. And ideally, he gets back to playing the way he, was playing before. Market goes back up, and from an investment standpoint, buying low at a time like this is a smart move. Now, of course, the other thing that could possibly happen is they discover that, holy crap, all of this is real.
Yeah.
And look, but here's the thing: but you're buying at the lower prices. It's a lower risk move right now.
Right.
And I'm not saying go out and spend thousands of dollars on Bowman First autos and things like that.
No.
But picking up, a bunch of Bowman First Mojo refractors and and stuff like that. That is it's a low risk play right now.
Yep.
And I think it's a chance that I would be willing to take. And that's why I'm holding on to the stuff that I've got now. I'm picking up, the occasional extra card here and there. And I'm hoping that everything turns out to be bullshit.
Yeah. No, very well said. I'm right there with you. But we'll see what happens.
Now, I could be wrong.
Yeah, right. I
hope I'm not.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. Don't take my advice.
No. Yeah.
I was in a meeting yesterday, and one of the guys mentioned, that it was a company that we may wind up doing some work with coming up here, which is really, really nice. We'll leave their name out of it for now. But one of the guys mentioned to me, he goes, "Hey, when I work with other influencers," and I thought about that for a minute. I'm like, but we're not influencers.
No.
We're like, I always think of myself more as a reporter.
Yeah,
or an
content
opinion.
creator.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I wouldn't even say content. I would say I'm a talking head.
Yes.
A hobby pundit.
Yes.
And
Right.
you
Yeah.
get my
Yeah.
opinion,
There you go.
you get our reporting and things like that.
Yeah.
But I'm not
We don't
here,
sit here and tell you who to buy. We don't say, even when we
exactly.
do movers and shakers, it's not people that we're talking about because we're buying them. It's people that we're moving up the ladder in the hobby. So like
Yeah.
we've never been one. We've never on this show in 195 episodes told you to buy somebody. Like
Once.
yeah, well, yeah,
We did that, we did a who are we buying segment,
yes,
and
that's true.
that I'm going to tell you right now that backfired on me. Because when I brought up a Miguel Amaya, all of a
We
sudden,
did preface not to buy it though.
yeah, but still that kind of backfired. So yeah, but like don't go out and buy, don't go out and pick up a whole crap load of Wander Franco stuff just because, because I'm doing it or you're doing it, or we're saying, hey, it's a good buy right now. That's not
Well, it's a low risk, like you said, it's a low
yeah.
risk play.
But there's still risk. Do it, do your own research, do your own stuff.
Risk in everything.
Right. But don't do it because we said to do it.
Yeah, no. But yeah,
we
that's
said
funny.
not, or don't not do it because we said not to do something.
But I agree with you. I've always hated that word, the influencer word. Like when someone says that like to me or says something like that, I can't I get lumped in or we get lumped in with other people like that. I can't stand it because I don't view our show that way. And
I view it more as news and opinion,
yes.
And very much a punditry of for the hobby.
Very good.
Typically you hear about pundits, you're thinking about politics, but no, we are going to opine on our views on the hobby and different things. But that's not really what we're doing this for. Is we're not influencers. We're not trying to tell you to make a decision one way or another. We're presenting you with a set of facts and a set of opinions, and you make your own decisions.
Yep.
Think for yourself.
Yes.
Look, that's all I got to say about that.
Right. Well, we will see what happens with Wander Franco and his market, and what happens. Hopefully, next week we'll be able to provide a much bigger update for you. But Scott, we got bills to pay.
We do have bills to pay. So for those of you listening to the podcast on Spotify, iHeartMedia, or iTunes, we'll be back after this. For those of you watching on YouTube,
what's up?
you should be listening to a Lowe's ad right about now. But hey, you get to skip that today.
Yeah, exactly. This is when I drink. This is when it gets boring for a minute,
Oh yeah, usually I pull out the mirror. We do a couple lines. No, I'm kidding.
Strike from YouTube.
No, we don't do that. The whole point of doing the video on YouTube is like say, hey, you get to see some of the background stuff. You get to see things that may get edited out, and stuff like that. So,
and I am gonna try and get Bo on the show because that rhymed. Because I do think that he might come on. So,
look, it wouldn't put it past him, especially if it gives him an outlet to talk about it.
Yeah.
And frankly, I want him on just because I want to know what the details are with these athlete contracts.
Yeah.
I want to know what's in there. I want to know if there are there penalties, if they don't fulfill their end of the
how easy was it for him to really say just fuck it and then literally write it on a card to brag about it? Like, I don't know. I'm interested, but all right. Yeah. So you want to bring us back in?
Yeah, we'll bring it back in, and then we'll go into Bowman Chrome's Legends segment. So, all right. Thank you for putting up with those ads. Those of you on YouTube watching the video, thank you for putting up with our banter back and forth while we normally have a break.
Yeah.
We got something cool coming out in a couple of weeks here. Obviously, huge product release, Bowman Chrome baseball.
Yes.
Big every year. Lot of
this year you got the Brady auto.
Now wait, is that Chrome or is that coming out in draft?
Oh yeah, no wait,
that's draft.
Right, that's
but look, you got all the prospects that are popping out. Bowman Chrome. You've got the Chrome rookies, which since 2018. I mean, dude, have you seen what the Ohtani 2018 Chrome base rookie is selling for?
Yep.
Like, I wish I still had all mine that I had, because I ripped a ton of that product.
That's up there with my Lucas sales. Is like, God, I'm an idiot. The ones I hate looking at.
Yeah.
Brutal.
One day we'll go back and we'll do a slideshow for the YouTube folks that of all the things that we've sold over the years that we regret.
Can we be
at the time.
drinking during that show?
Maybe we'll do that for the 200th show episode. But so Bowman Chrome's coming out in a couple of weeks. Topps teased that they are doing something they've never done before.
Yep.
And from what you found out, it's the only time they're ever going to be doing this.
Well, in a way, I'll get to that in just a moment.
All right. So they, in addition to the standard Bowman Chrome, they are doing Bowman Chrome first cards of legends.
Yes. Players who never had a first Bowman.
Right. Now, they teased it with Roberto Clemente.
Yep.
Who, if you think about it, really never had a first Bowman.
No, what this is people that never had when they designated it with the first sign on it. That's what it is. It's not players that never had a Bowman card, but players that never had what people in the modern hobby consider a first Bowman.
Right. And that's where it threw me off a little bit because, obviously they teased it with Roberto Clemente. Yeah. And he actually has a Bowman card. He was in 2003 Bowman Heritage.
Yes.
So, I got a little thrown off by that one. I don't necessarily like, obviously, look, I know they want to put Clemente in there. Everybody wants Clemente. He's a great player.
Plus the gold they showed with the color match. Oh, it's beautiful.
It looks amazing. I'm still iffy on putting that first Bowman designation on there. Because again, he's in Bowman Heritage.
Right. No.
Are they going to be able to do a Mickey Mantle? Because again, he had a 51 and a 52.
Well, I don't think they can touch Mantle because, they can now. I forgot. They used to not be able to. Now they can, I think. Because I know Panini had, I thought, an exclusive on him for a while.
Yeah, it's gone back and forth. And I do think Topps has
I think they do now as well. But what these were, it's a Legends edition. And what the VP of product development said, is that it's going to be the only time these players are going to have a card in new Bowman. So whoever's in the Legends set this year will not be in just a regular card or something like that in following years. Now, will they continue to do it for multiple years? I don't know. They haven't announced how big the set is. They haven't said anything like that. They might knock it all out in one shot. This could be a 1 year thing, or they could, slow roll it, put 2 or 3, maybe 5, do a 5-10 card checklist and roll it out through years. But Clemente will not be in next year's, the year after, as like a base card or something.
Right.
Like that. That's what they did say.
And I'm curious as to whether or not these are going to be part of the base set.
Yeah.
Are they going to be short prints?
Right.
Are there going to be, is it only color variations? Are they doing base for them? How readily available are these going to be? Yeah. And I think it could go, honestly, I would kind of like it to go either way. If they're, especially if they're just doing base ones too, if they're short prints, then, obviously it helps the value, but at the same time, if they're part of the base set, it makes them more readily available and it make it easier for me to get my hands on like a base Roberto Clemente Bowman first.
Yeah. I would assume that these are going to be short prints that have a standard. They might not have a base. The base might be a refractor, but I would assume that these are going to be short prints because obviously they showed a gold. So there's going to be multiple parallels. You already know that. Otherwise, they would have shown just like a super or red. So you're going to get a full rainbow. Maybe not full. We'll see on that. But I have a feeling they're going to be short prints.
Okay. And are they, kind of like how they do with Flagship, with Topps, are they going to be replacing a number? Card number 67 is going to have a short print variation of Roberto.
I hope not, just for my sake of freaking PSA work. God, I hope not. God, I hope not.
And that, yeah, I could see that.
Uh,
So yeah, we'll find out once they release the checklist.
yeah.
But so far that hasn't been released yet. Um,
Nope.
and we'll see what happens. And then obviously there's some of these legends that they may be doing that are still alive.
Yeah.
So, for those guys, obviously you're not going to get Clemente to sign a card because
No.
he's dead.
Yeah. If
But
you do, let me know.
yeah, I would like to think that especially if they continue this on,
Yeah.
and do like 5 or 10 a year,
Right. Which I
um,
bet they do.
yeah, some of these guys are still alive and
Mhm.
kicking. And I mean, imagine having like Sandy Koufax would be a great one to put in
Yeah.
there, and he doesn't have a Bowman first.
Nope.
He's still alive and he's
Yep.
still signing regularly for them.
Oh, very regularly.
So you can definitely put him in there, but at the same time, uh, even more modern guys, Derek Jeter does not have a first Bowman designated
Nope.
card.
Nope.
Neither does, even though Mariano Rivera's best rookie is a Bowman card, he technically does not have a Bowman first designation on
Exactly.
anything, because they could do him.
Yep.
Same thing, Randy Johnson, Ken
Mhm.
Griffey Jr., all of those guys that, you know, never had the first Bowman logo on any of their cards, and they can do autograph variations on these.
Yes. Yep. And
Um,
I have a feeling that's where it's going to go. I think this year you're going to see a lot of the legends, the Clementes, the Babe Ruth, like people like that. And I think eventually, as it moves down the line, I'll bet we don't get autos this year, but I'll bet starting next year, once they've knocked out some of the older true
yeah,
legends and just the greats, as they move through the years, I guarantee you, as they expand the sets like they always do,
yeah,
we get to the Koufaxes, we get to the Griffies, we get to the Jeters. But I have a feeling they're going to start with deceased players that are,
yeah.
people like that, like Mantle, like
And
Mayer,
which,
you know.
well, but that's the thing. That also means that the early years of this, if it's going to be a multi-year thing, are going to be very Yankees heavy.
Yeah, true.
I mean, you've
True.
got, I mean, look at all, you can do a Babe Ruth, you can do a, Mickey Mantle, Yogi Berra, Lou Gehrig. I mean, and the list goes on. So
Yeah.
hopefully they spread out, and
Oh, they're going
throw
to.
in, guys from other teams. Because again, I look, I love all those players and things like that, but just to do a whole, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
you don't want the whole thing to be like
It's
90%
not a
Yankee.
commemorative Yankees set.
No. And frankly, if people honestly, if people like this, if it gets a good reception, does well, I can see them forgetting it as an insert and just doing an entire like Bowman Chrome's Legends,
Yeah. Yep.
set.
Oh, no, no, no. If this takes off, I guarantee you there is some type of spinoff or some type of Legends product. If this takes off, there will be more, and it'll be a lot more than just inserts in this set. But I'm really curious to see
Yeah.
how collectors take to these. And I think what it's going to depend on is ultimately their rarity. Like,
Yeah.
if these are going to be short prints that are like super short printed, like some of the tops, like golden image variations or things like that, where they're not a short print, you can pull everyone in 5 retail fat packs.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be a big short print. I could see these taking off. If they're just a regular every old day short print, I don't think they have the staying power.
No, and I think that's, or if they're part of the base set or anything like that, I think it's just a
Yeah.
cool addition. Um,
Yeah.
or if it's one of those where technically it's considered an insert and there's, one in every hobby box or
Well,
something.
I think the reason I think that they're going to keep it, they might put one every hobby box, but the reason I say I think they're going to keep it as short prints of the set is because if it's an insert, is it really a first? You know what I mean?
And it's a good,
Like,
yeah,
it
and that's a
needs
good,
to be part of the base set. If you're gonna say these are first Bowmans, these are their first
yeah.
Bowmans, it's got to be part of the base set, even if they're short prints.
Well, or
At least in my
you kind of do it numbering wise, how they do the, because they have short prints in Topps Finest,
yes,
where numbers
yeah,
101 through, whatever
150,
number,
yeah.
right, are short prints. So maybe they do it where, because I think Bowman Chrome for the veterans, or actually would this be part of the veteran set, or would this be part of the prospects?
Prospects.
Um, So you would basically have BCP.
Yeah, this will be a BCP or something.
251 and higher.
Yeah.
Like 251 to 255 are the, you know,
or
are the legends. Yeah. Okay. I guess we'll find out, like I said, when the checklist comes out.
Yeah, but like I said, the reason I say I think they're going to do that is because Bowman and First Bowman's, the reason they're doing this is because the people that collect Bowman, there's so many diehards and they're so specific, you know, the original colors, the blue selling for more than, you know, lower numbered parallels, things like that. Bowman is a very interesting and really odd how diehard and how many, you know, unwritten rules they have for Bowman. You know what I mean? It is. It's different.
Well, I think the whole adage of like the blue to 150 selling for more than the green to 99 is kind of phasing out at this point. As younger, you know, as the more younger collectors come in, you're seeing that trend kind of go away.
Right, but when I'm talking about when it comes to a First Bowman, if you put it in as an insert, that it's not going to be, there's a lot of people just like in football with national treasures and RPAs, you know, it's the same thing for true RPAs. If you want it to be a true First Bowman, it has to be part of the main set. You can't do an insert.
No, unless of course they create a third set. You've got the, you know, the veterans and the rookies, you know, 1 to 100,
and then the legends. Yes.
BCP 151 to 250 is the prospects, but then you do like an L1, L2,
or LEG1,
or whatever you want to do, and do it as kind of like a third piece to that set. I mean, that's the other way to do it, where it's technically not an insert. You can still do it as a short print that way, but it doesn't take away from the numbering scheme, that, you know, that is typically there within Bowman and Bowman Chrome.
Yeah. No, I agree. But so Panini Topps releasing a preview of the Legends set. We'll see what happens. Like you said earlier, I'm really interested to see how the Bowman community takes to this. It has a chance to be really cool. I'm a little worried about the execution based on the execution of other things in the past, but you know, we'll see.
I'm still half thinking that there might be like an oops, we forgot to put these into the packs thing.
They
may pop up with this.
I expect that half the time.
But who knows? I'm excited for it though. I want to see how this plays out. I want to see, you know, how they do with it. And honestly, I want to see the other players they put in it besides Clemente.
Yes, as Clemente is the only one that they've teased, but hopefully we get a lot more soon as we inch closer to the release of this year's Bowman Chrome.
Yep, exactly. And speaking of other new releases,
yes,
this one's an exciting one. It's coming out at the end of the month. I believe it's the 30th is the release date. The original release date, though, was July 26th.
Yep.
So this was supposed to come out opening day of the National.
Yes.
And it has been delayed longer than 30 days. And we are talking about 2023 Topps MLS. And we're talking the flagship MLS.
Yes, the flagship.
And typically, I think there's one auto and 2 relics in a box. Typically, this is just a so-so product.
Right.
But since they haven't released the checklist yet, they haven't released reasoning for delays. And typically the paper products, the flagship products, don't get delayed because they're easy to print.
They're very simple. Yeah.
Yeah. So my question is the reason for the delay to get Messi and Biscuits and Alba into the product?
Yes.
And if the answer is yes, this is going to be an absolutely insane product this year.
Oh, huge.
Because I don't know if you've seen Messi play lately.
Well, yeah, 9 goals in 6 games, bringing them to they're going to CONCACAF for
No. It's the Leagues Cup.
No, but they qualified also for CONCACAF. So
I thought the only qualifier was the winner of the Leagues Cup.
Maybe that's what it is, but I'm pretty sure that I'm 99% sure I read this morning on ESPN that they were going. But regardless, 9 goals, 6 games. Last night he had an unbelievable performance. This dude talking about being more better than advertised. I mean, how could you script anything better?
Well, I wouldn't say he's better than advertised. I would say he is exactly as advertised.
I don't know about that.
I mean, look, but you're also talking about throwing him in to the MLS where the competition is not, as good as you see it
Well, of course, this
know,
Miami team is insane.
the Miami team is insane. And the funny thing is, he hasn't even played an MLS game yet.
I know.
All 6 games he's played, and the 7th game it's all Leagues Cup. Now they're playing against mostly MLS teams. I think there was a Liga MX team in there too. But
there was.
But I'm curious as to typically I'm not even going to talk about flagship soccer. We'll talk about Chrome. We'll talk about the other stuff. We'll talk about Champions League, things like that. Typically, we're not talking about MLS cards.
No.
But if the reason for the delay is because they needed to get Messi into the product, and especially we know he signs for Topps because he's got other Topps autograph products out there. So ideally, there will be autos in there. My question is, what is this going to do to the product?
Well, it's going to jack the product up like crazy, and they're going to be an insane high demand because Messi in the United States has just been huge, and people have taken to him tremendously. But my biggest concern and my biggest hope is that it props up the MLS market in general, not just the Messi. I want to see people, now that there's more eyes on the MLS than there's ever been, and more MLS collectors, hopefully, than there ever has been. I hope people go grab their Messis, spend the crazy money on the Messis that they're going to spend for his first auto in a USA team jersey. I want to see other players get some love too. I want to see
I agree.
Affect the entire market and not just Messi. I don't want this to be a one-player chase.
And I mean, reality is it probably will be for a little while.
For a little while it will.
No, but what you see a lot of these young guys that have been getting their start in the MLS and then have been moving over to Europe to play in the various leagues. I remember Ricardo Pepe. His rookie cards in the MLS products a couple of years ago were ridiculously hot, and then obviously he hasn't been able to replicate his performance in Europe. So they've cooled down a bit. But a lot of these guys, Brendan Aronson, Paxton Aronson.
Even Alba. I mean, Alba and players like that. Like, I want to see him get some MLS love. I just want to see it prop up the entire MLS market, not just Messi. And by the way, update from earlier, they did qualify for CONCACAF.
Okay. Yeah. So they did make the CONCACAF Champions League, because I know I knew the winner of the Leagues Cup was going to qualify. And the funny thing is, they're literally dead last. Inter Miami. Now, granted, all these points, they're 1 point behind the second to last team, but they are they're literally dead last right now in not only the conference but the entire league, and they are pretty far out of a playoff spot. So it's just weird that you have literally the worst. And granted, all of those games were played prior to Messi and Biscuits and Alba coming over. So you have literally the worst team in the league at the time that they took the break for this tournament that is now qualified for the CONCACAF Champions League.
Yeah. No, it's wild.
I don't think you can write it any better than that. It's Messi comes in and immediately just revitalizes and, provides an energy and a level of play to this team that, they just didn't have before.
Yeah.
So,
no, this team's turned into a damn dream team. It's unbelievable. And it's going to continue. I can't wait for the MLS games to start, but it's also cool to see him making the things like CONCACAF for the first time and, seeing stuff like that. But yes, when we talk about MLS Topps, if you ask me, this is 1,000% delayed because of Messi, because Topps now owns the printing now they have the capabilities to be able to go in there and insert somebody quickly. Whereas before, they may not have had as easy of a time to do that. Now, I think that the second Messi signed, or the second they thought Messi was going to sign, they had already started mocking this card up and probably printing it just in case. This was probably done in development as soon as the rumors started, so they could possibly get him in there, and that's why you see a delay of 30 minutes or so, or 30 days.
30 days. What then the other question arises is he going to be part of the base set, or is he going to be an image variation short prints?
Here we go with short prints again.
Well, no, but I mean, are we talking about
I agree.
I'm going back to 2018 Series 2 baseball.
Yeah.
They wanted Acuna and Gleyber Torres in that set, and the only way to make it happen with that period of time that they had, which was roughly about 30 days, was to put them in as an image variation short print.
Well, same with Vlad Guerrero. They didn't even stamp a number on it.
And they didn't even. That was printed in significantly larger quantities than Acuna and Torres the year before.
Yeah.
They just said, "Screw it, we're not making it an image variation. We're just not going to throw a number on it,
exactly,
and put it in the boxes."
Yeah.
So you have, I mean, so is it going to be that situation? Obviously, I'm hoping for autos. Relics, I don't think they'll be able to pull that one off in time.
No, you won't see relics.
No, but they can do autos, and autos, they'll probably be redemption, but that's fine. Messi has been really good with signing stuff over the years, so I don't see any issues. He's not Bo Nickal.
Well, they might not be they might not be redemptions because most of his top stuff is normally live. Like, it might be because MLS and how rushed these cards were.
And that's where I'm thinking redemption.
Yeah, this one might be a redemption, but it'll be a very quick redemption because his relationship with Topps is wonderful.
Oh, exactly. Now, also,
that's live.
But also the majority, with the exception of the PSG set that they did last year, the majority of the stuff that he signed, it's sticker autos.
Yes.
They have them.
Yes.
They've got the stickers already signed. So it may not be. They may not be.
Yeah, that's true. They may have what they need already.
Yeah. And they'll hold back. From
he might not be in the base set and might only have autos. Who knows? It all depends on how much time they had and when they started developing the cards. Honestly.
Yeah, and what kind of image?
This will show you how strong them buying the printing is, because you've seen the claims where they're halting Panini from being able to print and stuff like that. If they're able to get him into the base set, even as a short print, and get the autos out and everything, and only delay the product by 30 days, that's going to show you the strength of them owning the printing press.
Oh no, I agree. And honestly, if he's not in there with that 30-day delay, it is going to be the biggest disappointment.
Yes.
Like, period.
Yes.
MLS Chrome isn't even on the release calendar yet.
No, he'll be in Chrome.
So I absolutely think he'll be in Chrome. But if they if they put this delay out there for a different reason, and had nothing to do with whether or not Messi and look, I'm going to put in Biscuits and Alba as well. If the three of them aren't in this product,
what the hell are you doing?
Exactly.
That shows that shows that the printing company decision may have been a bad choice. Like,
well, but it may have nothing to do. It may have nothing to do with the printing company.
That's true.
Because if you notice, the Topps, the other Topps products are somewhat back on schedule.
Yeah. No, they're pretty much on schedule. Not many delays.
No, so I think it's going to be a massive disappointment if they're not in there. But I really want them in there because I want to see what the effect on the card market is by throwing in, arguably the best player in the world.
Yeah.
Into a set.
Stars.
Yeah. You put him into a set that has historically been lacking star power.
Oh God, yes. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
I know, but so MLS Topps, when did you say September 30th?
I think August. No, I think it's August 30th.
August 30th. Okay, so we got about 2 weeks, and then we'll find out if the delay was for Messi to be in the product or not. And, like I said, I just hope that this helps out the entire market and not just Messi. But like you said at the beginning, I think it's going to be Messi or nothing. I think eventually we start to see other players outside of Alba, Busquets, and Messi, getting some love in the MLS because, like you said, there's a lot of talent there, more eyes than ever before on the product or on the league in general.
Yep.
So, we'll see. But Messi, definitely not a disappointment so far.
No, not at all. It's exciting watching him play, and I'm excited to see how this final shakes out.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Bud, I think that's probably a good time to wrap up the first this episode and the first of our live shows on YouTube.
Yeah, definitely had fun.
Yeah,
got to make sure I do things like shave and
I know, right?
My hair's not all messed up. I got to wear clothes now. When we record, come on, man.
I know.
I know. I just gotta,
It's very different. It's different for you. I know.
It is. It's a change. I gotta work on that.
Adapt.
Yeah.
Buddy. You got to adapt. All right, guys. Well, that will wrap up episode 195 of Lemme Get That Podagraph. Before we go, do want to thank our awesome sponsors, Denver Card Shows, Slab Strong, Show Your Slabs, Zion Cases with the awesome new Mag Pros.
Yep.
Show Your Slabs, Game Time Sports Cards, Treasure Hunter Sports Cards, Card Ladder, and Stand Up Displays. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. We could not do this show without you guys. And if you missed Hobby Hotline last week, I was on, so check it out. It was a really good episode. And of course, check out every episode every single Saturday at 11 a.m. and the first Tuesday of every month at 9 p.m. But we got a lot of awesome stuff coming up. Got a lot of really special guests coming in the next few weeks, and some I'm really excited about, dude. Some really cool ones. So looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to it as well.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. But that is going to wrap up episode 195, guys. And until next week, you guys know the deal. Keep ripping those packs, pulling those hits. We'll talk to you then. Peace. And there we go.
I know.
Thank you guys on YouTube for joining the show. We'll be doing these live recordings whenever, every single week from now on. Some may be recorded depending on if we have a guest, depending on time schedule and things like that.
Yeah, but we're still gonna release the unedited video. So we're just gonna record it instead of doing it live and then throwing it out there. Just putting it up as is because, well, it's a hell of a lot easier that way.
Yeah. And, there will be bloopers, sometimes some added content in there as well for you guys, some bonus content, some bonus specials sometimes. So we really appreciate you guys checking it out on YouTube. And like every single person who does anything on YouTube says, please subscribe, hit the bell button and all that other stuff. I'm not YouTube savvy yet in terms of telling you exactly what to do. But if you could just subscribe.
It's down there.
Yeah,
maybe it's down there somewhere, or it's one of these two directions down here.
A little bell, hit all
maybe
those
it's both.
things.
There you go.
Up, down, over.
Yeah.
Yes. But thank you guys so much, and feel free to drop comments during the show. We probably won't interact too much during the show, but we definitely will during breaks and everything else. Danny, what's going on? Thank you very, very much. Greatly appreciate that. But yes, the audio version, guys, if you want to hear the cleaned up version, we actually didn't screw up today. So
no, it's
not anywhere, not that bad, but
no bloopers.
Bloopers when we do.
I honestly, I think in the future, next week, maybe we'll do like an intentional blooper just to, just to throw it out there. But the problem is it creates more work for you when you edit down the audio.
Nah, it's easy. I got to do it anyway. I'm a pro at this, man. What are you talking about? I've done 195 of these. I can edit these in my sleep.
All right. We'll see if that we may put that to the test one of these days.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, if you've missed any of the other episodes, most of them are available on audio on YouTube as well. And then all major podcast platforms, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartMedia, iHeartRadio, Pandora, all of those type of places, any major podcast platform you can find the show on. So thank you guys for tuning in to the YouTube Live, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.